Hi, my name is Ashley Shepard. I am the fourth grade reading CTO for the 17-18 school year. A little background information on myself. This is my seventh year teaching. Teaching is a huge passion of mine, as well as reading. This is also my fifth year with Uplift, but I currently am a fourth grade teacher at Uplift Lee. We're a very unique school. We're a partnership with Grand Prairie ISD, meaning that we share the same facilities with them. We share and collaborate best practices, resources. Our admin team also collaborates together. So it's a pretty cool, unique school and a pretty cool, unique experience. I've been with Uplift Lee for the last 2 years. Before you begin the virtual unit preview, please make sure that you are enrolled in the fourth grade course on Blackboard. During this preview, I'll refer to planning documents and resources located under the following sections: course and visions, scope and sequences, as well as the reading section. If you are not enrolled, please submit a request and an administrator will grant you access. CTLs will not post weekly lesson plans this year, but previous year's lesson plans may be accessed under the following tab. This year, CTLs will post annotated model lessons, and we'll talk more about those type of lessons at the end of the preview. So at the beginning of every unit, I will be providing teachers with the virtual unit preview. The purpose of this is to help teachers understand what information will be taught in the unit, as well as to provide clarity around long-term planning. During today's Unit 1 preview, we will go over the scope and sequence, talk about the rationale behind unit planning, look at a few misconceptions in the unit, also look at an example of an annotated model lesson, talk about flex days, and then we'll end with resources. We'll begin by looking at the scope and sequence. This important document is located on Blackboard under the Curricular Resources tab. I suggest that you go over this planning tool and familiarize yourself with the many different components. For this preview, we will focus on pacing. There are a total of 6 weeks, as well as 24 instructional days, with 5 flex days to end Unit 1. In the next slide, I will address skills that will be taught during the 24 instructional days, as well as how to pace for each skill. Later on in the preview, I will give some suggestions for flex day planning. Unit planning really helps teachers look at the unit in a bigger picture. It also helps us to reflect on what we want scholars to accomplish by the end of 6 weeks, as well as how we can use our instructional days as productive as possible. The Unit at a Glance document can be located on Blackboard under the Reading section. Let's begin by looking at the pacing notes, TEKS, and objectives. In previous years, we've given teachers concrete dates to teach certain skills. This year, we've given you a suggested amount of days to cover the skill and objective to help you plan purposely to meet the needs of your scholars as well as your campus. Next, you will see potential misconceptions, which are ideas that you can use to help plan out your lessons. And lastly, we see the objective assessment. I will include question stems as well as graphic organizers that you may use to assess the objective. I have included for Unit 1 Kilco question stems as well as release star question stems. So now we're going to go over a few misconceptions for Unit 1 when it comes to planning, as well as scholar-centered misconceptions. Looking at the balanced literacy block, there are many different components such as shared reading, independent reading, and also read alouds and word study. Looking at the AMLs and also the Unit at a Glance, that gives you a more of an idea as to how your read aloud should be structured and what skills should be taught. But as you're looking at the shared and independent reading components of your balanced literacy block, you want to make sure that you're reinforcing skills taught in the read aloud, as well as exposing scholars to different genres, and also spiraling different skills that were previously taught. Exit tickets are used to assess or measure scholar objective mastery. This can be done by giving scholars multiple choice questions, having them answer open-ended response type questions, as well as completing graphic organizers. Data from these exit tickets can be collected to help you reteach small group lessons, as well as prepare scholars for bigger assessments such as unit assessments and CAs. Close reading is a strategy used to help scholars deepen comprehension. I use this strategy a lot in many of my AMLs, and I've also included a resource on Blackboard labeled 1.2. This resource will give you more so a background of close reading and how you can use it when planning. Close reading will also be a topic that I will discuss during office hours for Unit 1. So now we're going to dive into Unit 1, Scholar Misconceptions, beginning with TEK 4.2a. This skill requires scholars to determine the meaning of unknown words based upon Greek or Latin roots, as well as affixes. This readiness TEK also makes up 20% of CA1, meaning there will be 4 questions that will assess a scholar's knowledge of 4.2a. On Blackboard, under Curricular Documents and Resources, a word study calendar is provided as a guide to help teachers plan the word study portion of the Balanced Literacy block. Word study will also be a topic that I will discuss during office hours for Unit 1. A common 4.2a misconception is that scholars may rely on background knowledge instead of text evidence to determine the meaning of an unknown word. Many times questions will ask, what is the meaning of this word? And scholars may simply choose a familiar meaning. We want to encourage scholars to always support their thinking by finding text evidence. Figure 19 are a set of dual-coded skills. Dual-coded means that these skills can be taught across genres, and they can be taught alongside other skills. A misconception for Figure 19 is that scholars may not be aware of their own thoughts. They need to understand the process we go through when we are thinking, and they need to know how to use their thoughts to determine what others are thinking. This can be a complex skill, but scholars can be led to mastery by teachers having strong think-alouds during the read-aloud block. This can also be taught by teaching scholars about their thinking, or metacognition. And last, TEK 4.6b, which pertains to characters. This is a really heavy TEK and should be taught in several different ways. When looking at the unit at a glance, we actually spend a few days over this skill teaching different learning objectives that connect to 4.6b. Potential scholar misconception for this skill is that they may just focus on character traits that occur only in the first half of the passage. We want to encourage scholars to pay attention to what characters do, what they say, how they feel, and how they change throughout the passage, from the beginning, middle, all the way to the end. The next misconception is that scholars may struggle with identifying character motivations in relation to their actions and or character relationships. The biggest thing is that we need to teach scholars that character motivations are defined as the reason behind a character's specific action or behavior. As mentioned in the beginning of the preview, CTLs will no longer provide weekly lesson plans, but we will provide annotated model lessons or AMLs. Here's an example. When opening the document, you will see comment bubbles on the right-hand side. When you click, a comment will come out, and also there will be a highlighted portion in the plan. I use these comments to explain my rationale behind including certain hooks, do nows, also to give example of CFUs, anchor charts, as well as exit ticket examples. 5 flex days are included at the end of Unit 1. I've listed a few suggestions for flex day planning. Depending upon your pacing, you can use this time to review for the Unit 1 assessment, and which scholars will take on September 22nd. You can also use the Unit 1 assessment data to help you create a review for CA1 and to help you pinpoint and plan small group instruction based on scholars' needs or differentiation. In Unit 1, we will focus on literary skills, meaning many of the read-alouds will include a fiction passage. CA1 will not only include fiction passages, but it will also include a nonfiction passage. Scholars should be exposed to this type of genre during the literacy block, such as shared and independent reading as mentioned in previous slides. Guided reading can also be used to introduce skills such as 4.10, 4.11a, 4.11c, and also 4.11d. In Unit 2, we will focus on these expository skills. But in the meantime, it is important that you introduce these skills before CA1. This year, CTLs will provide resources as well as artifacts. A resource can be used in a variety of classroom practices such as planning for whole group, small group, center rotations, as well as ideas we can use during guided reading. These documents will be located under the Reading tab in the Resource Bank. Sharing is caring, so if you have any wonderful resources that you would like to share with other fourth grade teachers, please email me and I will submit these under the Resource Bank. And that concludes the first virtual unit preview for Unit 1. I'm now open for business and it is back to school time. I love this meme down below. I know this virtual unit preview had a lot of information in it, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at ashepard@uplifteducation.org. This year, CTLs will host bi-weekly Skype sessions for office hours. The times will be listed a little later on, but during these office hours, we'll talk about different skills that are hard to teach, as well as topics, like I mentioned in a few previous slides, such as word study, shared reading, and we could just talk about it all. So once again, these hours will be posted at a later time. I'm so excited to serve you all as the fourth grade reading CTL for this year. Once again, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns.